Good morning or evening, fam. I'm your friendly announcer. I got some serious news to pass on to everybody. I could keep going, but I won't stop it right there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever side of the diaspora that you are on. Welcome once again to my house, the Mental House. And I'm your host, Khadijah. Glad to have you out there, and I'm glad you was able to share these few minutes with me. A lot of y'all come up with, ask me questions on my email, like, why do you call it the Mental House? I mean, what the hell? Because if you don't know by now, um, I don't know what to tell you. No, but seriously, I think mental issues, you can look at it two ways. Most of the people that say stuff that are really relevant and that probably bear listening to are considered probably crazy, because a lot of people would like to keep you away from somebody that was, a lot of times, not always, some banal, uh, but a lot of times keep you away from things that will enlighten you. And people that talk about things on a different vibration sometimes get labels that are just unfair. And, but that's neither here nor there. The mental house is really because I think that we talk about mental issues and issues that affect us, which I think about it in a positive sense. And so since I get crazy sometimes and some of my subs get crazy as well, we, it's a therapeutic mental house. So I hope it's not a negative connotation, but it's a connotation where you know that we concentrate on stuff that affect our dome, you know. And so I welcome your comments and I love them and keep them coming. And thank you for all. I try to answer as much as I possibly can. You can always hit me up at my email, which is Khadijah Anwar at Hotmail. Again, that is Khadijah Anwar at Hotmail. So you can, and that's spelled KHAD as in David, IJAHANWAR, Khadijah Anwar at Hotmail. So I look forward to hearing from you, and if you send me a question, I will definitely answer it in the tape, and hope that we can dialogue that way, or at least it can open up some dialogue, because trust me, I always know when these questions or feelings come, you're not the only one feeling it, and perhaps you can help someone else by asking your question. So feel free to send them to me. But since we are talking about mental things, and we continue to dissect mental issues, I want to make a statement that I think I'm really not going out on a limb by saying, and that is I'm very uncomfortable with the black community and their outlook or their perception of mental health issues. It has long been a dynamic in the black community where black people just don't want to talk about mental stuff. They think that you can pray it away, and all you gotta do is talk about Jesus, 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 Jesus. You're like, no, I have some serious issues going on here, and I can't pray them away. In fact, you might be freaking responsible for some of these things, and Jesus. But that's another story. But we're not very open to dealing with issues like a lot of other communities, and that's a lot of other communities. I admire their openness or stance sometimes on how they deal with mental issues. So, but it's clear that we need to start talking about some of the stuff that happens in our families, because our children are growing up in war zones. I mean, literally. They're growing up in emotionally, spiritually, physically, sexually, all across the gamut. Babe, our children, our children, they are subjected to all types of trauma before they even leave the home. Number one being sexual abuse, um, sexual abuse by relatives that are in the house, because sometimes we're living 3 and 4 and 5 families deep, or our brothers don't have a job, or our nephews don't have a job, so we let them come stay with us, and we got 3 and 4 little girls running around there, and our first concern should be their safety, okay, and not our brother's safety. But that's neither here nor there, because I don't want to open up that can of worms just yet. My point is, we put our children in a lot of harm's way. We got a brother we know just came out of prison, and we will allow him to come and cohabitate with us, and we got a lot of girls running around our homes, and then we act like we shocked when the little girl gets molested. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to have to start holding ourselves accountable to. We got kids that are being talked to crazy by their mothers and fathers. We got kids that can't even express if they like something or not. We got kids that are being exposed to all types of drama, all types of things that are totally age inappropriate. We are exposing our children to things that are totally inappropriate for them age-wise, and we don't have a problem with it. I was looking at a lady who made a video. I mean, this is a woman well over 40, and she had a video of her grandchild, and it's like the whole dancing routine was focusing on her booty. Do your booty, get it, girl, move your booty. And then you see these shots where young girls are mothers think it's okay with them to poke their asses out in a picture, but then get mad because nobody is taking them serious, and all they want to do is touch their ass or play with their ass, and then they want all this respect. So that's just a mental block in your mind, because you're not even thinking that how you're presenting yourself, and then you want a different response to the way you present yourself. That's mental. So in the mental house, what we got to do is we really got to address some of these things that we're doing, and because what we're doing is we're hurting babies. We are hurting babies. Just like I made the video the other day about the young black girl in the mall who had her children out there, and she's out there getting smart with the men. The security guard, he told her to move around. She didn't want to move around. She wanted to continue to challenge him, and then he tased her ass, and then she fell down like a tree, and all this activity happened in front of her babies. I know women who have brought men home to their house amongst their children, and they just met them on Facebook. To me, there's nothing more disgusting than a young girl 11 or 12 years old being pregnant. I don't know what can be more hideous than that. But they out here, and it's happening on a daily basis. And we don't seem to be concerned with that. In fact, a lot of us in the community, we have adapted the attitude where they got to grow up sometimes. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? A child has a right to be a child. A child has a right to have an environment that is not polluted, that is not poisoned by your madness. By your madness. And as an adult, you are so selfish, which in turn will allow me to think that you have mental issues. Now, some of the mental issues can get you locked up in the loony bin and some of them can't. But what I am observing is that if you got all these liquor stores and alcohol is so acceptable, but when you go to suburban neighborhoods, you don't see these liquor stores all congested in the neighborhood with so many people. But the square radius is not that large. But you see all these concentrated areas of cigarettes and liquor and beer and whatnot. What you're doing is you're producing a lot of people, and then there's no jobs, of course. So what's happening is you're creating a group of people who find it acceptable, because it is legal to drink, to self-medicate themselves with alcohol, and to flood the neighborhoods with drugs and alcohol, will cause a lot of these families to be destroyed. Because actually the people aren't thinking straight. These people are battling all types of addictions. So what I am hoping and what I am praying, and what I'm going to continue to talk about in the future, is some of these addictions that we got going on in this community. And there's a lot of things. I mean, you could even talk from caffeine to shopping, okay? But the thing is, if it doesn't affect your daily life and how you treating your children or how you are growing and developing, then okay, you may not have an addiction, okay? But once the stuff starts affecting those aspects of your life, then that means it's affecting you mentally, and now this stuff is starting to be a game changer. And you must have the courage to address it, because our children are important. They're our future. And they have no business being exposed to half of the stuff that we expose them to. They just don't. And we really need to knock it off. Okay? So, I'm going to leave you with that. Hope that if you like what you hear, you'll subscribe and come back again. Like and subscribe. And I will definitely see you next time. Might come back a little later though with another video. But I'll see you next time in the mental house. Okay? Alright.